remember how I was going off about I don't give a damn, go get Giannis? Remember that? Remember I was doing that? I have changed my mind. If I'm going to move off of what we have in place right now, it needs to be the closest thing to surefire that I can get. And with Giannis's health being an issue, I'm sorry. I'm concerned. I don't know if I do that right now.
Okay. So we've heard from Stephen A. Now let's hear from Shams. We are 2 days and a few hours away from the trade deadline. What is the latest on Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Greeny, my understanding is the Bucks are sifting through the aggressive offers that have come in. We've talked about the teams that have shown the most aggressive interest: the Knicks, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, as well as the Miami Heat. And these offers have ranged from all-star caliber players to draft picks. My understanding is the Warriors are a pick-heavy offer. The Heat and the Knicks are more players and picks, and the Timberwolves are more of a player-centric package. So Milwaukee has to make a decision between now and Thursday. Do they find a deal point with one of these four franchises? There another team waiting in the wings potentially as well. They've set a high bar in these conversations since last week. They've wanted a blue-chip young talent and or a surplus of draft picks. Right now, it looks like they're going to have to pick and choose which one they could want, or you wait till the offseason.
Heat, Timberwolves, Knicks, Warriors. Which team, Big Perk, is Giannis away from winning the championship?
Well, I'll tell you this. I agree with Stephen A. If I'm the Knicks, I'm not touching Giannis right now. I love their roster. I love what they have. It doesn't make sense to give up that many pieces. Let me say that first. But if I'm the Timberwolves, I make that move. And especially when you talk about pairing up Giannis and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards right now is having a career year. Anthony Edwards has been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Anthony Edwards need a Giannis to get him over the hump, especially when you're talking about a tough Western Conference. So if I'm Minnesota, yes, I'm putting the package together because the team that they have right now that just lost to the Memphis Grizzlies last night without Ja Morant actually needs some type of life, and Giannis Antetokounmpo is that life. And here's the most important thing, Greeny. I don't want everybody to miss out on this. Anthony Edwards is in Minnesota. Anthony Edwards, I believe, in what the next 2 years, Shams, is going to be coming up for a contract extension, and we're going to be having conversations should Anthony Edwards stay in Minnesota. If you're trying to secure your young superstar for the long haul, damn it, you go out and you make that move right now if you're the Timberwolves.
All right, Shams, outstanding. We got news from Shams at the bottom of the hour. We got news from Shefty at the top of the hour. We got a busy morning. Perkins, Shams, thanks, guys. Back with you in a little bit.
Deadline. Where are talks headed to this point, about 48 hours out from the deadline?
So the Bucks have been engaging with teams. They've been making counter proposals, and right now they're at the stage where they're sifting through the aggressive offers that they've gotten, and teams interested in Giannis that are making these aggressive pushes, like Miami, New York, Golden State, and Minnesota. They're waiting for Milwaukee to really get to the point where they're on the brink, where you're really making these counter offers like we're a piece or two or three away, and let's potentially get this deal done. And so these conversations, I think, will continue as we get closer to Wednesday and Thursday. The Bucks are at a tipping point, though. There's a conflict. They're in a position now where they're playing more and more for a draft pick the second half of the season. Giannis wants to play for a championship. He wants to play in the second half of the year. So there's a conflict of agendas with where both of these sides are going. They're now 11 games under 500. They've plummeted in the Eastern Conference. And so he wants and is ready for his exit, whether it's now or in the offseason.
Very quickly, what do the Bucks expect to get back for Giannis?
Their price point throughout all has been a young blue chip player and a surplus of draft picks. The reality is the Warriors have a pick-heavy offer. The Timberwolves have a player-centric offer. And then Miami and New York is somewhere in between both of those. Some players, some picks.
Got it.
So Milwaukee has to choose here. Do they want to go down one of these paths, or do you kick this to the offseason when, as I said, and I've been saying, Giannis will have 1 year left on his deal, and that'll give him a little bit more power, a little bit more say-so in terms of saying, listen, I only want to go here or here, and that could dilute the value for Milwaukee in the offseason.
But there could be more potential suitors in that offer. Shams Charania, it's fascinating stuff. The busiest man in Bristol here over the next couple of
With us right now, 3 days away from the trade deadline. Knicks reportedly one of those teams in the mix interested in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Shams, where do we stand right now with the Bucks and Giannis and trade talks?
So, Mina, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been ready, is prepared for his exit from the Milwaukee Bucks, whether it's at the NBA trade deadline or in the offseason. I'm told in the Bucks, as of this weekend, entering Monday, a few days away from the trade deadline, they are engaged with rival teams and making counteroffers to the aggressive proposals. But the big question around the NBA is, will the Bucks move Giannis? That is the biggest domino that this league has right now. It impacts several teams. The Bucks are sifting through proposals specifically from the Heat, Wolves, Knicks, and Warriors. And throughout the whole process, the Bucks have wanted a young blue chip talent and or a surplus of draft picks. And so my understanding is the Warriors have made a pick-heavy offer. Minnesota is more of a player-centric offer. And Miami is somewhere in the middle, somewhere between players and picks. And so the Bucks are going to have to choose. Do we take one of these offers? They're going to continue to negotiate, or can there potentially be more in the offseason? But the biggest conflict is also with where the Bucks season is at. They're 11 games under 500. They've now plummeted outside of any real play-in contention. You probably have to play for your draft pick. And Giannis wants to play when he's back from his calf injury. He wants to compete. He wants to play for a second championship. And so will there be risk reward, potentially hurting your draft pick? And then in the offseason, when Giannis has 1 year left on his deal, the Bucks are going to cede a lot of control to him depending on where he wants to play. So there's a lot to sift through in Milwaukee. Their executives, their ownership is going to sift through today and the coming days.
This could happen at the trade deadline or during the offseason. Me, I'm rooting for a little bit of chaos. Shams Charania with the latest. Thanks so much.
And then Brian goes out and says that the Warriors could potentially get him as far as what they have going on. And I want to see it. I'm not one of those guys that's like join forces and move him to go over here. I love the loyalty that's involved in the NBA. I love the rivalries. I love that. But I want to see it.
Okay.
I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm not going to be a fan.
Right.
But I want to see it.
Okay, fair enough. Now let's talk to Bobby and check in on how that could actually happen if it indeed were the case.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's actually probably the cleanest trade out there, where it's only two teams with Golden State and Milwaukee. And remember, Giannis is making $54 million, so you've got to have the money matched. This is a second apron team right below it. I know Mike Dunleavy Jr. has said no Jimmy Butler, unlikely. If you're going to do the math, it's either Butler or Draymond Green in this situation. We're going to put Jimmy Butler in there. And then you add a player like Jonathan Kuminga. Salary purposes, we're adding Kyle Kuzma. Now, here's Shams was saying as far as the surplus of draft picks, 26, 28, 30, and 32 first-round picks, potentially 4. They also have swaps there. When you do a type of deal like that, that actually works.
Wow. And
as you could see, these are 4 unprotected first-round picks when possibly Steph Curry is no longer on the roster. It sounds great for Giannis in Golden State. It is certainly a significant risk going there. And if you're Giannis, you're saying, well, who else am I playing with besides Steph Curry?
Wendy?
Some of these teams who could make these offers can improve their offers over the summer, like the Heat can offer more draft